Welcome back to SnowRunner, guys, and in this video, we are going to be having a look at TC's 2020 Yeetmobile, which is based on, as you can clearly see, a C8 Corvette. Now, I will have a link in the description box down below to where you guys can check out this mod on mod.io. I worked with Frog to sort of get this thing off the ground, get it into the game, and I am so glad that it's here. And there's another version of this behind the garage that we should probably go and take a look at. But we're also going to go through, of course, the customization features on this version as well as the other version of it. And then we are going to use the West Georgia Mud Park map to put both of these to the test because it actually has some really good asphalt areas as well as mud areas. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and fire this thing up, get it in the garage, customize it, and then see what it can do, and also give you guys a little bit of an overview of all the features. And also, I love how the TC logo is on the engine cover. I think that's so sick. And by the way, the interior, like, even though it's not technically the, the original dash, the original dash is digital and it wouldn't really work in the game. So Frog actually put working gauges in there, and the display screen actually is playing an old Spin Tires video that I did with Jeep Guy, which is super, super cool. So let's go ahead and take it in the garage. And as you can also see, there's a trailer hitch on the back. Now, why is that there? Well, you're about to find out, because before we go into the garage to customize it, we have to make a quick pit stop at the trailer store, because you can actually tow Scout trailers with this thing. Prototype Exploration Unit, Scout Flatbed, Scout Fuel Trailer, Small Scout Flatbed. If you really wanted to, you could tow something with this. Now, also, one thing to mention is that all of the suspension options are active. So even the stock suspension, you can change the suspension mode and raise it up a little bit and, you know, give yourself a little bit of extra clearance. Sort of acts as a standard axle lift would, except instead of just lifting the front, it lifts the front and the rear. So let's go ahead and stop in at the garage. And before we go customize this thing, you may have just seen a little bit of a glimpse of the one behind the garage. Yeah, there's a full-on mud truck version of this thing, and make no mistake, we are absolutely going to test that one out as well as build it for you guys because we are here on West Georgia Mud Park. So let's go ahead and head into the garage real quick, and I'll show you guys some of the features that this thing has on offer. So your standard engine is the stock 490 horsepower. Then your mid-range engine is your upgraded 800 horsepower. And then your top engine is the performance 1600 horsepower version. So we're going to go with that. And this is basically going to be a max build. Now, this thing does have 3 different transmission options: stock, highway, and off-road. However, I generally prefer to run the highway version because this particular one is mostly geared to highway-related gameplay. So we're going to run the highway transmission. You also have, like I said before, 3 different suspension options: lifted, stock, and lowered, which lowered is basically completely slammed. Although what I end up usually doing with this is I will install the lowered suspension and then I raise it up to the stock drive height when I'm actually driving it around, because like this, it scrapes the ground everywhere it goes, but it looks good in pictures. Now, as far as wheels and tires, you have the BFG KM2s if you really wanted to put, you know, an off-road-ish tire on this thing, and you also have the standard street wheels and tires. Now, winch-wise, you get 1 option, that's about it, and then in your roof options, if you wanted to throw the roof on it, it comes with 5,000 repair parts, 20 spare wheels, and 5,000 liters of fuel. However, we're going to run it without the roof because I think it looks really good with the roof off. So, wheels-wise, like I said, on this one, you really only get that 1 option, unless you go with the off-road wheels, of course. And then you also have a full range of colors to choose from, which that is, you know, open to whatever you want to do. You can switch the colors up to your heart's content, but I do think this looks really, really, really good in red, and I think the matching red accents fit it very, very well. Now, interior-wise, we can absolutely throw beans on the dash, and as far as accessories, you have your standard range. Nothing too crazy, but if you did want to put, let's say, a pine tree right there, you totally could. So now that that's done, let's go ahead and take it out of the garage, and now you get a little bit of a closer look at the mud version. So let's fire this one up. And like I said, you can drive on the slammed suspension, but I'm going to go ahead and actually raise it up to a more standard drive height. That way it doesn't get caught in the ground. But I cannot wait to show you guys what the mud one is all about. We're going to do a quick speed test in the 1600 horsepower built street car, and then we're gonna grab the mud one. Thing drifts so well. Like, you could literally run drift laps around the freaking garage area. If you put it in high, though, if you put it in high and you punch it, it gets wild. Put it in all-wheel drive and then punch it in high, it legit does donuts. It's hilarious. Actually, let's do that in free cam. So if I go into free cam and I let it go and then I put it in high and punch it, that is hilarious. Look at it go. Let me bring it back the other way and then throw it in high. Oh my god, it's definitely a Yeet-mobile, all right. Look at that. That's hilarious. I absolutely love it. Okay, so let's go back to the actual car now itself and head out on the main highway and see how this thing launches. So if I was gonna launch this thing, what I'd probably do is I'd probably put it in neutral. Actually, no. I'd put the handbrake on, take the all-wheels off. Well, it still creeps forward a little bit. So with that being said, I'll put it in all-wheel, handbrake on, and go! Yeah, it launches like crazy. So I would say launch it in automatic, and then throw it in high, and then throw it back in automatic. And then eventually when it gets up to... No! Oh, we took a big gouge out of the side right there. Our driver disappeared! At least... Oh, God! Our driver kind of disappeared there. Let's repair it and refuel it. Although our driver is also now, like, completely gone. His hands are still there, but the rest of him is gone. I was just trying to not necessarily turn too much, because if you try to turn too much, this thing, like, starts to get weird on you, but it is quick in a straight line, though. Well, easy. I do recommend definitely turning the all-wheel drive off when you're headed on the straight, though, because it's a lot easier to control when it's in rear wheel, for sure. Easy does it. And a little bit of a brake test. Boom. It does stop pretty well. I've got to give it that. It stops really, really well. So let's go ahead and stop the engine. And we'll go ahead and get it back into completely and totally lowered mode. It does look really good, though, for pictures. So now, let's go ahead and grab the mud truck version. We'll take this into the garage, build it up, and this is the one that I'm sure a lot of y'all are going to be using. So, the cool thing about this one is that it really only has two engine options. You have standard 900 horsepower, and then you have the one that everybody's going to use, really, the 1700 horsepower version. So we're going to go ahead and throw that on there. And you have three different options. You have mud, stock, and race. I'm going to go with the race gearbox because it absolutely rips. You have one suspension option, and then you have three different 51-inch tire options. You have these, you have the 51-inch patty tires, and then you have the 51-inch tractor tires. I'm going to go with the tractor tires first, and then frame add-ons wise, you also have the roof yet again, but also I think it looks really good with the roof off. And with the tractor tires, you have that single wheel option, and then you can also go through any color option that you so desire. But yet again, I think it looks really good in red. So we're going to go ahead and throw beans on the dash, and then in this one, I'm going to go ahead and we'll do the autumn leaf in this one, just to change it up a little bit. So with the 1700 horsepower engine, it is absolutely bonkers fast. It is so wild and so incredibly fast that I almost feel like it's so off the charts that the game sometimes doesn't know what to do with it. Now, you can change the suspension mode and lift it up a little bit, but I only recommend doing that if you're in really deep mud, because otherwise, it just makes it so incredibly unbalanced that when I say unbalanced, I mean, like, it makes the center of gravity so high that it's pretty wild. See, I wasn't even giving it any steering input. Whoa! That was, okay, so it also does stoppies. It also does stoppies, and it does really good ones at that. So let's see what the water fording capability is like, just to find out. Little test. Throw it in high. Come on. What? It's wheeling through the water. It wheelied all the way through the water in high. What is that? That is nuts. That is wild. That is absolutely nuts, you guys. All right, let's head for the main mud area now, because we're not going to even remotely touch pavement with this thing. I mean, this thing is definitely not... It's not geared for pavement use, let's say. Go! Oh, I hit it at just enough of an angle that it didn't like it. But it's okay, because we landed upright. So, no worries there. We're good to go. Let's hit that main jump one more time. I want to see how high it can actually get. Especially if I hit it straight on like you should. Dude, there have been so many times in this video where we have almost rolled it, but not. Let's try to keep it that way. Oh, easy. Yes! Caught it in high on the landing and then did a small wheelie out of it. God, I love this thing. It's so crazy. Now, let me know in the comment section below how you guys have been enjoying this thing, and also if you guys have been enjoying it, and also let me know what maps you prefer to use it on, because when it comes to crazy vehicles, I think this is definitely up there with some of the best of them. And let's see how it does. Actually, this mud isn't deep enough. What about this mud? This mud looks thick. Oh, yep, that's properly thick. All right, come on. Easy. Oh, wow, okay. It's kind of giving it a little bit of a run for its money in that mud, because that's properly deep. That's almost like enough to sink one of these tires, which these are far from small tires, that's for sure. That's standard low. Let's go to low minus. No, that didn't really change my speed much. Oh, there we go. Well, low is effective, but low plus is not. Until you get into that, and then it is, and then you can kick it up a couple gears, and then you can throw it back into high, and then it takes off! And that's what happens if you just stay flat out on the throttle. But, for whatever reason, we almost made it back to our wheels. I say almost because, yeah, we didn't quite make it on that one. But, with all of that being said and done, let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think of this rig. And if you enjoyed the video, then make sure to hit that subscribe button, click that notification bell, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Talk to y'all later.